there's one massive problem with it. It's such a big problem, in fact, that it almost ruins the set for me. Hey guys, this is JP's LEGO Reviews. Today, I'm going to be reviewing the massive LEGO Disney Castle. Now, this set comes with 4,080 pieces. The recommended age rating for this set is 16 and up, and the set number on the set is 71040. So, let's break it down. Now, here is the minifigure selection of the Disney Castle. Now, from left to right, we have Tinkerbell, Mickey Mouse, Minnie Mouse, Donald Duck, and finally, Daisy Duck. Now, out of these five, I just like the plain design of Donald Duck the most. Now, there's just something about Donald Duck's design that's pleasing. The blue that pops out, and just the relatively clean design, as well as his duck face. But now, let's move on to the back of these minifigures. Now, with the back of the minifigures, there's not too much to really say. I like the design of Minnie's skirt, and also like the design of the duck's tails. But because there isn't too much to the sets in general, I'll quickly show you an alternate face of Tinkerbell, and I'll just do it here. Alright, she actually doesn't have one. So, let's just move on to the Disney Castle itself. Now, here is the Disney Castle itself. And I'm going to break this into two components to fully go into detail with. But before that, I'll quickly show you what this thing looks like from the back. And here is the back of the Disney Castle, with all the detail showing. But now, let's move on to the bottom half of the Disney Castle. Now, here is the front of the Disney Castle. Now, I'll go into the left side of this so you can sort of appreciate what it looks like. There's a bunch of stickers and these pieces. Now, they can come off depending on how careful you are with them, but also you can see the detailing for the door area and the clock. Up top, there are the flags here, and there's also one for the back section of this specific kind of point. Now, let's go over here for a second. Now, you have kind of a stained glass look with a printed tile. We saw the clock earlier, and we also have this spiky thing as well. But going downstairs into the front, we have two lamps greeting you to the door, which you can just kind of press open like this. And you have a very slow and gentle descent onto the stairway. Now, as we're moving to the back of this, you can actually see our first Disney reference. There's like, I think, maybe 15 of these. But this one references the princess and the frog. And there is the frog's kind of crown. But let's actually move on to the back of the interior of the Disney Castle. Now, this interior actually has quite a bit of detail. Now, not all of it is specific to a movie, but looking inside it, there is a chandelier that you can spin. There are two knights on either side greeting you as you leave the castle, if you will. There are two sort of torches over here. There is a grandfather clock here where you can kind of spin this as well, and it actually comes out. So if you want to have a closer look at it, you can. And yeah, this shows you one of the issues with the set where it's kind of fragile. But here are 3 swords as well. This references 3 different kingdoms, I believe, in the time when these Disney stories may have been written, or when these stories may have been taken place. Also, we move up to the top. Now, the tiles mixed with the kind of studs here are for the second half of the Disney Castle to attach to. Also, here is a reference to Brave, the movie, with archery set and some cookies. Now, as we move on down here, you can see a vase, and also in the center of here, these are actually Nexo Knights pieces mixed in with tiles, and it makes for a very nice tiled area, and it's actually slightly submerged underneath the rest of the flooring. And here is Aladdin's rug. You have a rug here, and you have the genie lantern, like teacup. It's not a teacup, but yeah, the genie thing is over here. Meanwhile, Aladdin's rug is over there. Another reference, and this one's obvious to Aladdin. But now, let's actually get the second half of the Disney castle, the more fragile half, and let's look into detail what it has to offer. And here is the top part of the Disney castle, and I'll quickly show you the exterior details now. So, with the bottom portion of the design, there's a bit more blue roofing, but apart from that, there's not really too many interesting details. There's quite a lot of plain sort of unicorn horn pieces as well, but as we move up, we get to see a bit more detail. We have the cannons here, and I'll quickly fire them now simply because they're front facing. That, you know what, yeah, you can kind of face them down. They're stud shooters, and they fire out not weapons, but actually fireworks. Yeah, you got to hit it. Also, and this thing also tilts quite a bit as well. Now, also up here you have quite a few more sort of unicorn horn sort of pieces and quite a bit of gold with quite a lot of greebling actually, but there's a lot of detail in the uppermost quarters of the castle. And also you have the massive sort of gold spire that's maybe 10 centimeters long, or I think 3 inches up top as well. And I really like the detail of this, but now let's move on to the back of the top part of the Disney castle. Now, the back portion of this build is really where you see most of the Disney film references. So let's just get started and look at the references. Now, starting actually in the bottom, we have the bottom floor. Now, there are a few references here, including the kitchen area from Little Mermaid, and also, fun fact, the pumpkin used here is actually a jack-o'-lantern faced the opposite way. I'll actually just leave it there. Also, over here is a reference to Beauty and the Beast. I'll quickly grab the candle, since that's what the reference is supposed to be for. And you see the candle over here. And finally, you actually take off this mini bit of a roof. Inside you see a box, and inside the box you see Cinderella's slipper. Also, you have a book inside here too, and it starts with, of course, Once Upon a Time. Whenever I can pick it up though, because it just dropped on me. And the cover is of a Disney castle. Now, moving up top a little bit, over here, this sort of contraption comes from Sleeping Beauty. Now, the one next to it, which is, I'll tilt this a very little bit so you can see better, comes from Fantasia, the sort of messed up closet area. Then the bedding actually comes from nowhere. It actually isn't a reference whatsoever. Meanwhile, with the treasure box, it comes from Tangled. Also, the mirror area comes from Snow White's. And yeah, these are practically all the references that they have. So now going through the references and seeing what the interior of all these sets look like, well, let's just move on to the instruction manual before concluding my final thoughts on this set. And there's a lot of thoughts since there's a lot of details, and it's been done really well, by the way. Now, when it comes to the instruction manual of this set, there's quite a few interesting details. Firstly, you get to see who the characters are that come with the set, but also you get pictures of the actual Disney castle, I believe in one of the sort of resorts. Actually, this one is, I believe, in Florida. Meanwhile, I think the other one is in California. Of these pictures here, all of them are references showing you all the different sort of references that LEGO have included from all sorts of Disney movies inside the set itself. And there's, I believe, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I think 10 or so references, which is quite a lot. Now, there's not too many other details here. You have just starting the build, and then I'm just going to skip to the end. Yeah, there's pretty much nothing after that except this version of LEGO's feedback page. But now, let's move on to my final thoughts. Now, I'm actually going to show you just the attachment process of attaching the top half of a set to the bottom half. And it's a very stressful process because I'm always concerned that this bit will actually fall on me. And the durability of the top bit versus the bottom bit is so bad, you actually have to carry it separately if you have any chance of nothing toppling over. So now, let's move on to my actual final thoughts. Now, what are my final thoughts on this LEGO Disney Castle set? It's enchanting, it's beautiful, and it's an awesome display set. But there's one massive problem with it. It's such a big problem, in fact, that it almost ruins the set for me. Now, it comes with its durability. This thing, if you carry it incorrectly, which I actually have carried this incorrectly, and carrying it incorrectly is carrying it all at once, will actually make the top half topple over and break. Actually, this is what caused me to completely rebuild this set again. And I definitely don't want to rebuild this set another time just because I broke it. And because of that, it's a shame, but this set only deserves 4 out of 5 stars. The massive problem of the stability of this set is too much to ignore here. It's a beautiful set, and if LEGO got the stability and they've kind of corrected it, it would have been a 5-star set, no question. There's lots of detail, great building technique, brilliant display set, and it's just an impressive display piece. But because of how fragile it is, I have zero choice but to give it only 4 out of 5 stars. And for 500 Australian dollars, it's even pretty good value for money. But let me know what you think about this set, and let me know if you have it or if you would get it in the future. If you enjoyed the video, please smash the like button. If you want to see more content just like this, please subscribe. I hope you guys have an enchanting day and keep building.